This is Dolynny TV. Friends, the Oilers did not win tonight. And I'll tell you, there's a simple formula here happening this season that just, I got to make a sacrifice here for the greater good. I have come to the conclusion at this point, I'm done watching Oilers games. So as you can enjoy the Oilers winning. That's it. That's all. I'm done. It's over. I'm over it. Happy trails and enjoy winning hockey games without me because simply, honestly, I have no answer for it, but every single game, and I think I've watched the Oilers win one game in regulation and two in overtime this entire year when I've had the chance to watch a game fully live, right? I'm talking about sit down, start to finish, and watch the game here in the studio. And where were you when we won against Ottawa? I was out and about. I had stuff going on. And that's been the case over the past several games. And quite honestly, my record this year watching the Oilers in the studio is maybe, if I'm lucky, 3, probably about 6, and one of those OT losses. So, add now 3, 7, and 1. And every single time I think, man, the Oilers need a good performance. I'm going to show up and watch the game, start finish in the studio. They don't show up. So, as much as I'm making a joke here, and obviously I'm going to continue watching no matter what, it just really starts to feel as I sit here and I'm out here blasting my opinions on the internet every single day. And at some point it would be nice, to be able to come home, sit down, watch a game, and actually feel good about what you're going to talk about post-game, because a 5-3 loss that was truly a 5-2 loss for the Oilers outside of a last 30-second goal that in garbage time, again, really, are we going to get too hyped up about Jeff Skinner scoring because it doesn't solve nothing for the Oilers at this moment. Maybe he starts feeling better about himself like Jack and Louie were talking and goes on a heater, but the Oilers are going to have to find a way to play a lot more direct, which apparently that's what they did so well against Ottawa, and they learned their lesson, and they were going to crush, and they were going to do so good, and then they got smacked by a Wild team that's very good this year. Bang, right? Oh, wow, that's unexpected. Well, friends, quite honestly, again, another effort tonight out of the Oilers that is simply just not good enough, and we've watched other teams in the NHL this year when they've had injuries. They've still put in an effort that's good enough. And yeah, okay, 26 block shots or whatever the heck it was for the Minnesota Wild. Who cares? You also had 26 missed shooting opportunities because you passed 5 feet in front of the net instead of shooting the puck. So, again, when you start counting stats there, the Oilers made it just as hard on themselves as the Minnesota Wild did for them. So, I'm very frustrated. Obviously, like I said, I've watched 3 victories down here in the studio this year. That's we're 21 games into the season. Something's got to change there. Something's got to get going. Home ice has been atrocious this year, and for the Oilers, I just don't understand it, because I don't care if you're old. I don't care if you're slow. I don't care if you got injuries. I don't care if the defense isn't good enough. I don't care if the goaltending's not good enough. That is not an excuse not to bring your A game every single game. And, blame Skinner, blame Bouchard, blame the lack of scoring, blame the big boys for being the only ones that contribute, blame whatever you want. The team is just not playing good enough. And you got a gift tonight, right? That opening goal was a gift. And let me read you a text message that I sent the moment that the goal went in. And for the Oilers, you know what? We got that extra save tonight. Stuart Skinner saved a 3-on-1 and we still lost. So that'll go to tell you. So I said that that goal going in against Fleury to open the scoring this evening was blooper of the year. We're either going to win by a landslide or lose a crippling game. 5-3 against the Minnesota Wild, in which you got gifted that opening goal. That's a crippling loss if you've ever asked me. So the Oilers, I'm out of answers here. Like I said, my only answer at this point for anything that'll change anything is for me to simply stop watching you tend to do when the Oilers suck, except for I run this Oilers podcast thing that I have to kind of actually show up and watch the games to be able to talk about things. But I'm at a loss, man. I'm at a loss. I'm not quite as much of a loss as I was after Montreal, but that's a lot more different things than possibly what's going on here tonight. But to my friends that are Minnesota Wild fans, hey, congratulations, good victory. Not saying the Wild didn't earn it. It's just the Oilers didn't exactly help their own cause tonight, as they haven't many times this season. So we'll see what the Oilers can bring for us the next game, quite honestly, and that's the problem too, eh? It's been such a busy November. I don't even know the schedule at this point. It's all become mush. There's a foot of snow outside. I don't know what's going on anymore. And maybe if I stopped watching the Oilers for about a week, I could probably actually get my bearings straight. But hockey comes at you every 2 to 3 days, and you just sit down and you watch the Oilers lose in the studio, and you get on the podcast here and talk about the game post game. And really, that's why I'm making a mockery of this post game. Quite honestly, if you're sitting here saying, "What the hell am I listening to?" I'm just making a mockery of this because the Oilers are making a mockery of me wasting my own time, or me choosing to spend my time watching them every single time down here in the studio. Like I said, I've watched the Oilers win elsewhere this season. Don't kid you wrong. I've watched more than 3 Oilers wins this year, at least I hope. But right, I swear I'm sitting at a 3-7-1 record in a season that the Oilers talked about going back to the Stanley Cup Finals. So, not so pretty so far for the Oilers, and it's been tough. But hey, you know what? End of the day, I know they had a pretty good game in some facets tonight. I'm not going to sit here and drag them over the coals and say they were the absolute worst team I've ever seen. That's not the case. I'm literally sitting here making a mockery of the situation of me watching the game and wasting my time watching another loss because it's just the way it's going this season. That's what I'm making the joke out of here tonight. And I can only hope that, it's the same old from the past 2 years. We waste October, we waste November, December we get going, and away we go. Then it's worth watching, then it's worth live streaming, then it's worth everything the rest of the way home, because it really doesn't jazz me up to sit there at work at 4:30 and think, hey, game's at 7, let's go home, get dinner in me, sit down, play a game of Chell on the old PS, whatever the heck, and then away we go, let's watch the hockey game, because it really ain't doing it for me right now. And the Oilers are a major contributor to that factor. Friends, thanks for being aboard this evening, tuning into the post-game edition, whatever you want to call this. I quite frankly don't care to make it anything more than I did, because it's kind of a joke at this point to me, and I'm a little frustrated by it. And, you just, when things aren't going well, you make jokes. And that's why Gene Principe does puns on Sportsnet every game before the Oilers play hockey. So, friends, I'm up on out of here. Have a great night. Don't stress too much. Again, put a smile on your face. It's Friday morning tomorrow. Let's go.